at the start of the 0% run, we go fight Bomb Terizo, and then save in Parlor, copy that save file over, and we take one of those save files and go activate the Golden Terizo code, and then come back up here to the surface. So the next thing that you want to do is empty your reserves and turn off your suits so that we can die to the acid faster later on, and turn off more for the X-ray climb. And we want to get stuck in this door transition by activating the Shine Spark on the same frame that we wall jump check the door transition. So then we X-ray climb up this wall. And I'll turn on the hitbox viewer now. So one thing to note is that we have these air blocks here followed by more solid blocks. That can actually change depending on how crisp you are with your X-ray climbs. So if you hold down X-ray for a long time as you're going up, you just saw these door blocks over here, these 0900 blocks, will put you in Terminator if you hit them. So if you hold down X-ray a long time as you're going up, they can end up spawning directly over you. And they could be to your left as you're moving that direction. So to be safe, we want to space jump over there to our next objective. If you go at the height that you're nice and visible in the middle of the screen. Alright, there's solid ground below us, but there's not always going to be. There could be those door blocks there. So, yeah, as we come over here, this area, this hump on the ground, we're going to be above that and space jumping. And we want to hit the side of these green slip blocks there, and then move slightly to the right, and you should see just a couple pixels of Samus's feet there. We want to hold jump and do an auto spin jump to the left. Pause here, turn on morph. I'll make a save state. So you want to hold left and then hold jump, but you want to do it after you start falling so that you bounce off of this block here. So then about a second apart should work. And we land there. I'll do that again. Once you see yourself there, then on morph, turn to the right and do an auto spin jump to the left. Now, there are a lot of one-tile gaps in this area, so there are a lot of places that if you're not careful, you can wall jump check transition blocks, and that will warp you to other rooms. So most of the time you're going to want to be neutral on the D-pad unless you're doing something very specific or unless you break spin intentionally. So like if we're space jumping up here and then we fall down, if we're holding left, we're going to check that block there. So we want to avoid that. So just neutral on the D-pad, space jump up. And after a few wraps of the screen, then you're going to hit your head on this block. Go left, then go right, a few tiles above it. Keep space jumping directly up. Another couple of door transition blocks, they're just to the left of us, we don't want to check them. When we hit our head here, on the way up, we want to break spin and go right. Once we're underneath this hump in the ceiling, then we're going to stationary space jump up. That wasn't stationary. Alright. Also want to be sure not to wall jump check this transition block there. So again, break spin and then a little bit left. Then align with the ceiling, just like this. So when we're crouching and facing up, we want 2 pixels of Samus's, the muzzle of Samus's gun, to be visible, and 3 pixels of it will be behind the rock. If we're not in that pixel perfect position, then the next X-ray will create a different block than the one we want. Activate X-ray, hold down. When the screen starts flashing, then we can let go and we can drop down. So up here, you can see those blocks are 0F44. That's the one we want. This one is also 0F44. We don't want that because we're going to be touching that block later. So what we want to do here is a quick X-ray turn from right to left. Too quick. Like that. So if we are too long on the X-ray, then it can change those blocks. Or maybe not. All right. Well, there you go. So maybe it can't actually change them. In any case, morph, roll to the right a little bit. You're going to hit this, jump up, then do a little bit of short charge. Charge it, and you're going to want to crouch above this spot, just to the left of the grass. And we're going to shine spark from that crouch position straight up. And that puts us in the climb. We want to die in the acid. Alright, so we don't want to show the menu because that can mess up the setup that we just did. So we want to hit yes to go back into the game, but then hit B to back out, back to the menu. Select our other save file and enter it into it that way. That will preserve the setup of that block that we had. Now we want to do a door skip. I don't actually know if you need to go to the climb first, but I did, so we want to do this setup. All right, so our Y position is 1171, and that's where we want to do the door skip. There we go. Alright, so we're out of bounds. And we want to do a whole bunch of mockballs across these room copies. Obviously, it's much easier if you have the hitbox viewer. But so what I normally did for my runs was get onto a new ledge, mockball all the way across until I stop, and then start again. One thing that you do want to make sure is that you don't accidentally hit the edge of this, think that it's a new copy of the room, and then mockball off of it, because you'll hit that and you'll crash the game. And also, to be safe, while you can't see yourself, you could just bomb jump up each of the levels. And that's obviously slower. But if you want to be safe, you can do that. And we're basically going to be doing this for 2 wraps vertically of the room. So you can see that we just came above the sprite of the door. There's a gap between Samus and the door sprite. We want to keep going until we're at that position again. Just a little bit farther. Alright, you can see we're above the door sprite. We want to go to the far right edge of this level. Unmorph, go left. So we're against this. So, just to demonstrate something, so a bunny hop, so we're holding angle up and angle down, and even though I'm pressing left on the D-pad, nothing's happening. If I then jump, Samus will move an exact amount of distance. And we're taking advantage of that with this move. So we do a bunny hop to start off. And then we do 4 turnaround spin jumps. And to turn around for each of these, we can take advantage of that angle up and angle down, just to make sure that we don't move extra distance. So this is our second. 3, 4. And then we do a turnaround spin jump to the right. And then we do 4 bunny hops to the right. And then now we're here. And then we do 1 more bunny hop to the left. And we grab the power bombs. I hold L just as a button to clear the text boxes after the fanfare is done. Next, we want to take this door transition, and I like to do a 10 frame space between my jump and right inputs, and that's either 360 BPM on a metronome, or if you just want to think of it as the spike suit rhythm, then that'll work too. But we want to basically hit that transition about the same time as we hit our head on this ceiling, because if we hit it at a save state, if we hit it too low, oh, that was, yeah, so our head is barely sticking out of the ground if we do it correctly, and then we can get back in bounds. If we do it incorrectly, like hit it all the way down here, then we're stuck in the ground, and there's no way out. But even if we hit there, that might work. No, we're stuck. Alright, so yeah. You want to hit it so that your head hits the ceiling as you hit the transition, basically. And then you can just jump to get back in bounds. One important thing to note is that we have 127 power bombs, but we still have a max power bomb count of 0. If we ever pick up a drop, then we lose all of our power bombs. If we pick up a power bomb drop. So the rest of the run, you need to make sure to not do that, especially before you hit X-ray. After that, most things you can work around. But until you at least get X-ray, you need to be careful not to pick up any power bomb drops.